Welcome to this training screencast. I'm going to be covering data stores session 2. So in the first session I just went over the general concepts of the old versus the new system. This time I'm just going to go over some advanced concepts around indexing, keys and constraints, and some load logic. This presentation is a little bit boring because I only have slides to show you. In follow-up presentations I'll be really going into a lot of detail around the load logic and showing you parts of the system where all of this stuff is implemented. Let's just take a quick look at how some of the information is used. So when the user comes in and sets up a data store, they can define whether it's set versus non-set, and that's defined at the table level, and that affects the load logic. I think many of you have worked with InfoStore and know all about set versus non-set. If you don't know, I'll be covering that in a future training session. You can define custom key fields, which determines how records are matched and what happens on reloads. I think that's been a missing feature for a long time. That is very useful when you want to set up a very custom table to take special kinds of data with an extra key. So it may be something like pricing data with a price type. So the price type would be an extra key. You can also set up indexes on the table easily. So everything is done for you by the factory. You just really mark a couple of fields as being part of an index, and that can speed up queries. You can also set up key constraints in some of the tables to say that you want a unique combination of key values, and that prevents duplicate rows from being loaded. Looking at some of the cool new load logic on the set-based tables, standard and archive follows the rules that were previous, except the standard will run a deletion on existing records and the archive will version existing records. What's new is that we have append loads, so we can actually append records to an existing set with deletion and with versioning. I think that's a very nice feature when you want to merge up two different files, like you're getting positions from two different sources. You want to merge it up into the same set of data. You don't need to do any fancy staging work anymore. That can be built in to the load. And looking at the row by row or the non-set tables, we've got the standard, which deletes existing records, the archive, which versions existing records, and also a form of merging. So this actually merges onto existing rows. So if we have two different sources of data, one source provides us with certain fields and the second source gives us additional fields, we're able to now actually merge those up onto the same record, applying both strong and weak merging rules. So the strong rules means that it always does an update. The weak merge only does an update if the value is null. So this is really going to make loading data a lot easier. You can do a lot more just really by picking a few options. You don't have to do any fancy staging work, custom stored procedures and so on. All of this stuff is built into the system. In a future training session I'll be going over all these different types of loads, showing you actual examples, how the records merged, how the keys are used and so on.